What's going on? All right. Enough goofing off. So I went by the transmission shop and picked up a shim. Well, let me show you what's going on first. So the end play on the transmission shaft, maybe you can see that. Let's see. Can I zoom in? Yeah, I can. I always forget. All right, so I don't know if you can see it, but the end play on the transmission shaft with the stock shim, which is a number, what number is that? I think it's a number 7. Can we see that? There we go. It's backwards, but it was too thick. So I ordered a pack of shims, and they took way too long to get here. Way too long. So what this shim does, it goes behind the pump and basically sets preload on all the bearings through the transmission. And so you measure that preload, well, you measure the end play by the movement in and out of this center shaft. Not the stator shaft, but inside the stator there's the one that turns. So you got to measure in and out on it. So with this factory shim, it was 104 thousandths. Zoom out. So with the factory shim is 104 thousandths. And when I tightened the pump down, it had everything locked up. There was absolutely no end play. A matter of fact, I didn't even get to spec on the torque before it locked everything up. It was way too thick. So I didn't have any shims. I thought I could sand it down. So I started out with some sandpaper on one of my big steel plates that I know is flat and started sanding it by hand. After about 40 minutes, I sanded maybe 2 thousandths off of it. Maybe. So I broke the DA sander out with 60 grit and sanded on it for another 4 hours and dropped it 20 thousandths. I don't know what that plastic's made out of, but it is very good. What's up? Got to get stuff done even though it's a Friday. So I stopped by the transmission shop and picked up this shim. I had to beg for it. It was the only one they had. And even you can kind of see it's almost the same thickness. So it was still too tight. So then my shim packs finally came in. I already have one in the transmission. It's the thinnest one. You can see all of these are thicker than the yellow one. There was one, the green one, that was thinner. So I guess it's the one I have to use. But I'm gonna take it apart and I'll show you. Get my transmission stand here. So the bucket broke the other day and made a heck of a mess. Oh my goodness. Don't laugh at me, I'm old. All right. I'll spin you around, bring you down here and kind of show you. Maybe. All right, tilt you. Sorry it's shaky. All right. I'm gonna take these back apart. And I also cut a groove in my little tool I made, and it's a lot easier because then I can just come up behind the head of the bolt and pop the pump right out. All right, so you see that? You pull the pump out. And you can see the shim that's there. All right. So the original shim was 104 thousandths. 104 thousandths. If I'm saying that wrong or not, oh well. This shim, which is the thinnest one that was in the pack, is 52 thousandths. The yellow one, the used yellow one, is 68 thousandths. You can see it's used. It has a little wear on it. You see them kids looking through that window at me? Watch that window right there. There's broken fish tanks right there. Stay away.
I was over here. Right there.
Go on. All right, sorry about that. So the new yellow one is 67 thousandths. So this is not a factory Ford. This is not a Ford Motor Company shim. So this one, this red one is a number 7. And this red one is a number 4. And from the factory, they do have 2 different thicknesses of red. But you can see this one was thicker than the new one. And I've sanded it down that far. All right. So enough of that talking. So I'm gonna throw the green shim back in it. I just wanted to show you what I was talking about with the shims. And put it back together, tighten it 2 spec, and then get an in-play measurement. All right, make sure your gasket's lined up and your O-ring is lubed up. This can only go on one way. All right. I want to make some people mad. All right. As you can tell, I didn't tighten it up that tight. I didn't give it all the ugga-duggas. Yes, I got a torque wrench. An inch-pound torque wrench. It's set to 209 inch-pounds. Oh no. Woo. See me drop that transmission. All right. So these are the bell housing bolts to go between the bell housing and the engine. They fit right inside the threads on the pump to pull it. Three more pump bolts. I'll go ahead and tighten it down. I think. Nope, wrong one. It will be this one. I think I hear it thundering. All right. So I think I got a way figured out to measure the end play. The only problem is I can try to grip this thing. Can you hear that? So that's the end play. Let me zoom in and maybe you can see it. Let's see here. I don't know if it autofocus or not. All right, see if you can see it. You can probably hear it. So I was going to take and measure my calipers this way, or whatever they're called, calipers. Zoom back out and get a depth on it with this part of my calipers, but I cannot for the life of me get it to stay consistent. So I have my dial indicator. I don't know if anybody knows what these are, but I thought I'd use this. The only problem is it's aluminum. I don't have anything to tighten down to. So I have an idea. So this is the rod I use to do my alignments, but I'm going to use it this way. So I should be able to clamp it across here. We're going to find out. Clamp it. Oh. Well, that sucked and knocked you out of the stand. I think I'm gonna leave that in there. All right, maybe you won't fall again. Sorry. Raise you up. Raise you up so I can see the comments. I don't think anybody was on here whenever I dropped it. All right. I know it's taking me a while, just be patient. I don't have all the fancy tools or the right tools to do it. So really what I need to do is make a plate that bolts here where the starter goes and swings out, and then that will that'd give me something to put the magnet on. But this here will work. All right, it's solid, and hopefully there's enough metal there that this will stick to it. Oh yeah, okay, that works. All right, let me get my caliper set up and we'll measure that. Maybe I can zoom in while y'all can see me a little better. See what I'm doing. So this one was just kind of a live stream to let you know what's going on with the transmission and how come I've not done any more live streams on it. I think I like working on working like this on live streams where people can talk to me and they can see how big of an idiot I am. I remember how to put this thing back together. What's going on? Well, there's my washer. All right. I certainly hope more expensive mounts are easier to work on or work with than these. All right. Let's see if I can turn you on here. Let's see what works better. There, that works really good. Figure out how to mount this. It was last time I worked on that or used this thing, so be patient with me, please. All right, again, Harbor Freight stuff. This is what I use to re-gear the axle that's in the Suburban. It worked pretty good. I don't necessarily like that moves that much. All right, let's see here. Well, it's going to be hard to get my caliper in there and probably should still have the pan off to measure that. That'd probably been smart. What's going on? People's here. Can you hear me? Comment if you can, please. Thank you. All right, that's going to be hard to measure. Well, I guess scared somebody off. It'd be really nice if the hole inside that was threaded. I could put a bolt on it and I could measure it that way. This may not work very good, because the only thing I have are needle nose pliers too, and I can't get down in there. So that's not going to work. Well, that stinks. All right, let me try something else here. So the guy on the transmission bench, he just wants you to push it down as far as you can, lightly clamp a pair of vice grips to the shaft, and then you can pull it up and measure the end play with a set of feeler gauges, which will work, but I have no idea where my big vice grips are. So I got to figure some other way out to do it. All right. Set this back up there. Without killing myself. Won't be good to stroke out on camera, would it? Alright, let's see if I can do this without killing myself. Maybe. The thing gets lighter every time I move it. Alright, so this way, if you can see it, not, no. Let me turn you around here. Sorry for the shakes. So this way, I can pull the input shaft out and get a measurement on it and push it in, and then that'll get me my measurement that I need, hopefully. These things are so sensitive. All right, let's shove it in and see. Maybe you can see what's going on. I don't have my bright light tonight, so can't really see. So sorry. Just gonna have to trust me. All right, so I'm just gonna shove it in. It's a little tight, so I'm gonna try to use the handle of this and see without bumping it. So that looks like 13 thousandths. See if I can pull it back out. Get it back to where it was, yeah. All right. Shove it back in and see. Ten, 11, 12, 13. So 14 thousandths. So it has 14 thousandths of end play in and out on the end of that transmission. So now I might have to look and see if I can find specs on that. All right, so if you don't mind, I'll be right back. it looks like it's starting to rain again, so. Thank you for sticking with me. Since I'm using my phone to video, so I had to go get something else, got the internet so I can look this up. 4R70 W input shaft. In play. All right, let's see here. Of course, it's not going to be easy to find. So you go to good old forums. Anybody watching remember forums? Before, really, I guess, before you could get every answer on Google, you had forums, and you had to scroll through them and ask the right questions and get yelled at because you ask a question. And I don't know, anybody else remember that, or is it just me? The world's worst was Pirate 4-wheel drive, Pirate 4x4, whatever it was. You could ask them what color the sky was and they would yell at you because that answer it's already been answered. All right, I guess I'll go back to oh man, now it's really raining. I got a 4-wheeler out there. Stink. All right, wasn't raining near as much as I thought it was, sorry. Looks like I lost everybody that time. Oh well. Trying to find this here real quick. I should have had it wrote down before I started the live because I had to. I need to use that phone. What's going on? I see somebody. Well, stink. Always commercials on YouTube. Used to not be that way. But there is now.
Work well with others.
Sound like an old dude.
Hello. I want to invite you to actually be under the hood behind the engine. We're going inside the most incredible part of the drivetrain.
See if I can find it here real quick.
Many of the lessons in this class begin with inspirational quotes from Henry Ford, and I have one more to share with you.
Wasn't that one? I think it was lesson 6. Well, let's listen to Jimmy real quick.
We've come a long way with the reassembly of the transmission. Lesson 5 was devoted to the reinstallation of the entire drive of the horizontal position to
All right. Here he's talking about the in play.
locator, or as you're about to see, with vice grip pliers and feeler gauge blades. Push in on the input shaft.
So see how he's gonna do it?
Now butt the pliers against the stator support and lightly clamp them to the input shaft.
I don't
Pull
have
out on
vice
the
grips
shaft.
big enough to do that.
This gap is the transmission in play. Measure it with a feeler gauge. This 30 thousandths blade will not fit, but a 25 thousandths blade will with a little play.
Let's listen and see what he says.
The in play is about 27 thousandths and within the acceptable range. Let's move on to the valve body area.
Oh, you're not gonna tell me what's acceptable? Come on,
The
Jimmy.
goal of this lesson is reinstallation.
Let's go to the end of this one and see if he says what's acceptable.
You must set the intermediate piston return spring assembly on top of the. Use a 10 millimeter socket extension. and
Sorry
ratchet.
again that
Tighten the
I
bolts
didn't have
in the
this
cross pattern
specs
and
before
pull
I
the
started the
pump
live.
into the case as
I
easily
thought
as
about it,
possible.
but I didn't find it. What's going on? I see some people up here. I'm back to working on the 4R70W out of a E350 van. Rebuilt the transmission using YouTube University, using the transmission bench. So we'll see, put that thing back together and see if it worked or not. Probably gonna have to look up specs. Unless anybody knows it, anybody watching, any three of you know the
When all
in
bolts
play
are
of the input shaft
check to make sure the
on a
input
4R70W,
shaft
what's
is
acceptable?
If it will not, you may have a forward friction plate which hasn't splined with the inner hub. You may also have installed a thrust bearing upside down by mistake. If the shaft is locked down, remove the pump, find out what is causing the interference, and try again. The input shaft must turn freely and have some inplay. We'll use an inch-pounds
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to Google it.
10 millimeter socket, extension, and wrap.
That's slightly embarrassing. So it's kind of hard to see. What's up, Anthony? You wish what? You knew? Can't ever find anything easy on Google. Well, stink. AT&T has been slow all day, as usual, especially around here. And they want you to join the forum to finish reading. I don't want to do that. Let's see here. Boy, can you hear them kids in the background? They are loud. All right, so it looks like the in play, this guy says his info shows anywhere between 4 and 44 thousandths. I'm at 14 thousandths with the thinnest shim, so I can't put a smaller shim in it. So that's got to be what I use. So 14 thousandths. Let me measure it again just to make sure. Ten, 11, 12, 13. So in between 13 and 14 thousandths. So according to that there, it's in acceptable range. So I will finish torquing this down. I'll finish torquing it down, and I will put everything to spec. I'll put the tail shaft back on it. And get ready to install. This was going to be a short one. I just wanted to let everybody know what was going on with no lives, no working on the transmission. I didn't die. So get all that done. Thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate it. Have a good one.